Hello everybody, Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube Approach to Wrestling Challenge. This is the 20th of October 1991 for Wrestling Challenge. And interesting time right before Survivor Series number, what do we got? Number 91, so that would be number 87, 89, 90, 91, 5. Basically, the Bushwhackers start the program. Not exactly a stellar performance by the Bushwhackers here, but a basic squash match for them, which serves their basic purpose, which is get on television. Also, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, featuring a special report segment where it's announced that Sid Justice, Big Boss Man, Legion of Doom would team with Jake Roberts, IRS, and the Natural Disasters at the Survivor Series, with comments from Sid's team afterwards, and also including vignette promoting the debut of Tito Santana's Matador gimmick, and including Sergeant Slaughter, I Want My Country Back promos, which run for 3 or 4 weeks, and it also included Natural Disasters and Jimmy Hart guest on the barbershop discussing the tag team champions Legion of Doom. We open with Bushwhackers defeating Pete Weeks and Bruce Mitchell 2-11. Pretty basic there, nothing to write home about. Punches, kicks, battering rams, and a gutbuster by the Bushwhackers lead them in the direction of where they need to go, where they want to go, and etc. and so forth. Nothing necessarily too wonderful about that particular run there. Anyway, we move to running into the update as mentioned with the Survivor Series team. Sid's team strong in control, also hyped for Hulk Hogan being afraid of The Undertaker, or its effect on Hulkamania, and The Undertaker promising to leave Hulk Hogan resting in peace at the Survivor Series. It's the first time a championship has been contested at the Survivor Series event, finally figuring out that 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 matches are things that people really aren't going to care about on a continual basis. I don't quite understand what the concept... I mean, I understand the concept of the pay-per-view was originally to throw Jim Crockett off base, but at the same time, not really understanding why people cared about that product so much. Ted DiBiase up next in an enhancement talent match, and he jumps the enhancement talent very quickly. Sensational Sherry Martel is at ringside with DiBiase, having joined DiBiase right after, post WrestleMania 7, actually at WrestleMania 7, which will be a fun show when we actually do pay-per-views around here in the old school. There's about 600 of those. But I enjoy the television recaps just because they're shorter and because, honestly, they're harder to find. Ted DiBiase defeating Charlie Hahn via submission with the $1 Million Dream 132. DiBiase sends his man to the outside, very basic maneuvers along the way, and very little distraction for the $1 Million Man here. Then we move to $1 Million Man after beating his man with the $1 Million Dream, apropos. We move to Ted DiBiase getting a victory there, and ultimately, Sensational Sherry in black and gold, very happy with that, lining up with the $1 Million Man. Also, DiBiase does do a tremendous power slam, worth checking out if you're a worker here. Anyway, they show the vignette for Tito Santana along the way, and Santana, pretty well a big deal. Jim the Emblem Neidhart wearing yellow and checkered flag jacket and MC Hammer pants, and Jim Neidhart kind of in and out of commentary at this time or around this time. I don't know why they had him on commentary, never really made sense to me. He is facing off in an enhancement match, punch, kick, very basic things, and again we kind of see him use camel clutch as a single maneuver. I don't really like IRS, or Jim Neidhart rather, as a enhancement guy. He wins with a power slam that he was still using up until right around the end of this time, 114. Very basic punch kick and all of that. Then we move to a another in the series of, I guess you'd say, relatively, I don't want to say useless segments, but an event center segment which is obviously outdated, local area promos. Hot Rod Roddy Piper promises and basically says that Ric Flair is fake. He's going to call him into accountability at the Boston Garden. Sergeant Slaughter with the I Want My Country Back promos and faces, and then we go to, and that, by the way, is Sunday night, November 10th at the Boston Garden. IRS facing an unknown enhancement talent from the time. Punch kick, body slam, and a Samoan drop, otherwise known as the write-off, that eventually becomes a leaping clothesline in the months to come. Also, we go into the Legion of Doom against the Natural Disasters coming up in Boston on the 10th of November. That continues to be a contendable thing there, and ultimately we move to another in the series of enhancement matches, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming back, being the fire-breathing dragon, as it were, literally having learned to breathe fire. He is here for less than a full year, I think, returning to WCW sometime in 1992 for his really good feud with Rick Rude. Hey, that rhymed and I wasn't even trying. Anyhow, so, Ricky Steamboat, though, kind of here, really short term, probably on a year's deal or something like that. Anyway, we move to that being a pretty major thing, and Ricky Steamboat defeating Brent Costello 126, flying body press, not before the deep arm drags and the slide through the legs and the, double chops, and Steamboat in a minute 26, getting a victory there. We move to Roddy Piper in a basic match. Piper cuts an insert promo on Ric Flair. Bob Smedley, otherwise known as Bobby Blaze, is the enhancement talent of the day and manages to do what he can where he can. Basic maneuvers there, and Piper gets a win with a bulldog of all things. Not exactly, your run-of-the-mill best match, but Roddy Piper's squash match is never known for having a great deal of technical prowess, and of course the run with Ric Flair is there. In the middle there, we also see the continuation of the barbershop with Brutus Beefcake, and gotta grab my phone, so we will be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail for that, and ultimately we'll be back with more action right after this. And again, we get the Mountie, and a Mountie squash match is pretty basic, nothing necessarily worth writing home about. Certainly the Mountie major feud is the major feud for the Mountie is the Big Boss Man and Bret Hart. And actually the Boss Man feud has already passed us here into things. And of course, pretty basic match here. Mountie, of course, the former Jacques Rougeau, or the, former Jacques Rougeau would be a fair assessment. Anyway, Mountie is going to town on his adversary here, which, in that case, is I guess you'd say a microcosm of what needs to happen there. Anyhow, moving forward and moving onward into something more consistent. Of course, Jacques Rougeau, kind of a guy who really is at a place where he needed the gimmick overhaul. Mountie with Jimmy Hart defeating Sonny Blaze, 150. Two-handed choke slam after the bout. Mountie handcuffs Blaze's arms around the ropes and shocks him with a shock stick. And obviously that will close us out. Event Center promos here, continuing on the foray of the event, the Wrestling Challenge tradition. Again, several more of these. There's actually a whole bunch I found from 1993 and 95. IRS and the Big Boss Man, basically. IRS claiming that Boss Man is Jack Street, and Boss Man claiming the IRS is willing to cheat and lie to people and manipulate them in general on a consistent basis. That's the whole idea. And that closes us out for this particular day. We will be back with more, but we've got over 2,100 of these for your listening pleasure. We'll be back, though, with more right after this.